Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Kevin Semlo. I'm the Executive Director of Governmental Affairs and Commodities for the Illinois Farm Bureau. And it's a great day to be here on such a great experience and opportunity for all of us. I just think that today it's just encouraging that we're making a step in helping students in the future be able to prepare better for themselves and give them an opportunity to recognize their hard work and efforts in their programs, especially today with 4-H and FFA. House Bill 3814, of course, allows these students to be able to participate in their educational opportunities, in their competitions and their exhibitions, and get credit for it for school hours. This is very important, and it's a great step in the right direction to encourage that we can get these young folks the opportunity they have, but still allow them to go to school, get their credits, and move forward with that. I'd like to thank Representative Harper and Senator Turner for being the champions on this issue and sponsoring it and shepherding it through, along with a lot of other advocates and their co-sponsors. Today, it's just a great opportunity that we get to come here and let the governor come up and do his honorary duties of signing this bill. It's a great compliment to be here today. And so with that, I'll turn it over to the governor.
Thank you very much, Kevin.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Well, thank you very much to Kevin. Thanks to all of you for joining us today. It really is an exciting day to be here. Alongside me, as you may know, are Senator Doris Turner and Representative Sonia Harper, who are chairs of respective committees in the Senate and the House. The Illinois FFA State President, Thaddeus Bergschneider. 4-H Youth Leadership Team President, Naomi Dolan. And of course, we are here to celebrate new legislation that makes FFA and 4-H programs even more accessible to Illinois students. Agriculture is our #1 industry in Illinois, and it's the pride of our state. And in order to ensure that it has a prosperous future, we must invest in the next generation of agricultural leaders. So as governor of this great state, I've made it my mission to provide every student, regardless of their economic status, with access to all that FFA and 4-H have to offer, both inside and outside the classroom. Just 2 years ago, only 2/3 of Illinois' youth taking agriculture classes were members of FFA. But there were still thousands of students who couldn't join, mainly because they couldn't afford to. If we want to keep our agriculture industry leadership pipeline strong, we had to change that. With the thoughtful chief sponsorship of Senator Doris Turner, my administration worked with her to invest $550,000 in state funds to automatically pay the FFA membership dues for every single student taking agricultural classes in Illinois. Today, we take yet another step, a next step for our students so that we can open new doors for Illinois' future farmers. In a few moments, I will sign House Bill 3814, which will allow students attending agricultural learning events to count that towards their school attendance. These learning opportunities cultivate professional development and responsibility in our youth. Our FFA and 4-H members are living proof of that fact, and their hands-on experiences ought to count towards their education. This new law is a major win, not just for our students, but for the future of our agricultural industry. To Illinois students in every corner of our great state, if you've ever thought about joining FFA or 4-H, now is your moment. FFA and 4-H is excited to welcome you as new members. And with that, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you our marvelous, well, the best Lieutenant Governor in the entire country, our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for that warm introduction and your commitment to uplifting working families and the future generation of workers that make Illinois work. Thank you to everyone for joining us to uplift the young people who play a role in driving the powerhouse that is our state's ag industry, including House Bill 3814 sponsors Chair of the Senate Agriculture Committee, Senator Doris Turner, and Chair of the House Agriculture and Conservation Committee, Representative Sonia Harper. I want to acknowledge the Director of the Department of Agriculture who joins us, Jerry Costello, and Illinois Farm Bureau's Director of Legislation, Kevin Simlo. And I also want to acknowledge Illinois County Fair Queen, Paige Van Dyke, who told me that she lives and breathes agriculture in Clay County. Thank you for being here as well. It's so exciting to come together on our fairgrounds where the excellence of our future ag leaders is on full display and mark another step in our state's efforts to uplift the next generation of Illinois agriculture. That's why I want to take a moment to shine a light on Illinois FFA State President of the Franklin FFA, Thaddeus Bergschneider, 4-H Youth Leadership Chair Naomi Dolan, and all of the young leaders in FFA and 4-H here with us that are harnessing their brilliance and skills to take us even further. I know how essential these programs are to the future of our state because these are spaces where our young people can gain the opportunities to reach their full potential and be built up to take our ag industry to the next level. Just weeks ago, I had the distinct privilege of being awarded an honorary FFA state degree, and I will continue to keep my focus on expanding pathways and breaking down barriers so every child has a chance to participate in our state's #1 industry. It's because ag connects us all, and we all play a role in strengthening our connections to the land so that every community benefits from the bounty our state produces. I'm proud to work alongside our great governor, our partners in the General Assembly, and Director Costello to build a bright future for Illinois ag, and the strides we have made show just how powerful it is to join forces in these efforts. As the governor mentioned, for the second year in a row, the state will cover the dues for every FFA member, and we know the impact it had last year, increasing membership from 23,000 to over 40,000 students, and that helps helps our 4-H students as well. And this year, we're investing $7 million in ag education. That's $2 million more than when we took office, further demonstrating our commitment to supporting our educators and students interested in agriculture. With today's bill signing, we're taking the next great step by ensuring the real-world, work-based experiences students receive that prepare young people to carry on our state's legacy in feeding and growing Illinois is supported as a fundamental part of our well-rounded ag education. I'm grateful for everyone who has played a part in making this happen. We'll continue to open doors so all can thrive in ag. The strides we have made show just how much we are capable of together, and I can't wait to see how far we will go next. It's now my pleasure to introduce a young leader who is helping to cultivate the future of Illinois ag, Illinois FFA State President of Franklin FFA, Thaddeus Bergschneider. Thaddeus.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Stratton. My name is Thaddeus Bergschneider, and I am proud to stand here representing Illinois FFA as state president, along with my teammates, Eric Wisely, Cooper Nelson, Riley Kessler, and Benjamin Brimmer. As an organization, we are incredibly grateful for the continued support of the governor, the lieutenant governor, and the Department of Ag, headed by Director Costello. Education is truly the future of our country. It always has been, and it always will be. The governor and his administration reflect that belief with their action on education spending and improvements and prioritize that educational impact today with this bill. Students will continue to learn lessons in discipline, innovation, teamwork, collaboration, and leadership through the programs FFA and 4-H offer. Through these programs, they are becoming the leaders, innovators, and workforce for agriculture, which is our state's largest industry and a key piece for our efforts in conservation and sustainability in our nation and in our world. FFA has always taught and educated its members to become those leaders and innovators for our state's future. And now their attendance record will show the true value of those experiences. On behalf of Illinois FFA and our 41,000 members, thank you for making this opportunity possible. It is my absolute pleasure to now welcome to the podium Senator Turner, a champion for agriculture and youth in agriculture.
Good morning. It is a very exciting day for our Future Farmers of America and 4-H program students, as well as our state's agriculture industry, and I am so excited to be here. Students participating in FFA and 4-H programs can now attend events without being jeopardized by their attendance in the classroom. And that was the driving force behind this legislation as we build up and support our future agriculture leaders. Learning continues outside the classroom through hands-on experiences, which is especially important in the agriculture industry. It is a collaborative way for students to expand their wealth of knowledge in real-life scenarios that they will continue to see in the future. On yesterday, I was out on the fairgrounds and I visited the FFA barnyard. And I had the opportunity to talk with some 4-Hers from Westside County, and they are showing livestock at the Whiteside County Fair, which begins almost simultaneously with the school year. This is a real concern for students and their parents, and this is something that once this legislation is signed, we'll address. So this is not just something that, we hear about and hear other people talk about. I actually spoke with someone on the spot that is experiencing a problem that this legislation will address. Illinois' agriculture industry is the backbone of our state. Illinois is home to some of the most fertile farmland in the world, and without our farmers, we wouldn't have food on the table or any of the thousands of byproducts derived from that farmland. And we need our youth to continue to invest in Illinois' agricultural opportunities. As chair of the Senate Agriculture Committee, I've worked closely with agriculture leaders and stakeholders, and yes, our youth, making sure that they have the support, tools, and resources to continue making Illinois an agriculture leader. During my time as state senator, I've worked to prioritize agriculture education in schools. As a matter of fact, the very first bill I passed was an agriculture education bill. I was proud to sponsor this legislation with my friend and House Agriculture Committee Chair, Representative Sonia Harper, and rest assured that I know that I will and she will continue to be a voice and advocate to expand agriculture education here in Illinois. And with that, I invite Chair Harper to the podium.
Good afternoon. Well, I'm so happy to be here today, of course, to support our students, their education, and of course, the future of agriculture here in the state of Illinois. Now, what matters most to me is if Illinois is able to meet our food and trade demands, innovate and grow our farmers where needed, and ensure a steady pipeline of young people entering careers related to food and agriculture. Supporting student programs and organizations such as 4-H and FFA help us to fulfill those missions and a whole lot more. Coming from a county with the largest FFA chapter in the state, this means so much to me because I am proud to support all of our students across the state in any way that I can to ensure their success now and in the future, no matter what career path they may choose. I would like to thank Governor Pritzker for signing House Bill 3814 into law today, making it very clear that we value and honor our students who are exploring careers in our state's #1 top job producing industry. I would like to thank my partner, Senate Ag Chair Doris Turner, for sharing the purpose and vision we have for education and agriculture and helping me to work on so many initiatives that will help to grow the business of agriculture in this state. This bill is truly dedicated to our 4-Hers and FFA members across the state, and myself and the Illinois General Assembly is so proud to support them. Thank you. And next, I'm going to bring up Miss Naomi Dolan from 4-H.
Good morning, everyone. I am Naomi Dolan, the chair of the Illinois 4-H Youth Leadership Team, here today representing the Illinois 4-H Extension and Illinois 4-H in general. Illinois 4-H creates nearly 180,000 experiences for 4-H youth between the ages of 5 and 18 in all 102 Illinois counties. 4-H empowers young people and creates a pathway of experiences for youth to explore topics that spark their interest, whether that be in agriculture, STEM, community service, or leadership development. Through 4-H, members have the opportunity to develop a wide range of career skills, including leadership, communication, problem solving, and entrepreneurship skills. These and other skills learned through 4-H are valuable in the workforce, regardless of their chosen career path. In addition to career skills, 4-H members develop a strong work ethic, a sense of responsibility, and a commitment to community service, which are all qualities employers look for in potential employees. Having had the opportunity to attend state and national 4-H events during my high school career, I always had to make the tough decision on accepting the once-in-a-lifetime development opportunity or to stay in class to avoid any repercussions that might have come from an unexcused absence. Now, with this bill, 4-Hers and FFA members alike are able to freely participate in these programs during a prime time in their lives, where college, career, and personal development opportunities are crucial for their future success. Today, we gather to support youth such as myself to be able to take the opportunity to grow as leaders by removing a barrier to gain crucial college and career readiness development. On behalf of Illinois 4-H members, I want to thank all of the House and Senate sponsors of this bill, as well as Governor Pritzker, for their support of this beneficial piece of legislation. The work that you put into this bill is truly supported by Illinois and the 4-Hers and FFA members and does not go unnoticed. Thank you for ensuring these opportunities for my peers and I to develop as future leaders in agriculture and the world. Now, please help me in welcoming Governor Pritzker back to the table to officially sign the bill.
Chairs, so you guys together, and maybe with our 4-H and FFA leaders on the other side. There you go. Great, good job. Okay, I'll be happy to take a few questions from members of the media.
Governor, are you committed to trying again to lift the nuclear moratorium with its commitment to small modular reactors? And are you concerned with any potential blowback from neighbors for vetoing the bill?
Not concerned about the last part of your question. Absolutely committed. That's why I wrote the message that I did to the General Assembly. That bill originally was about advanced small modular reactors. I think that's something that we should open up the possibility for. It's still under study. It's still being developed in other states. But we want the opportunity here as well if it is safe for the communities across the state of Illinois.
Governor, there's a lot of challenges for ag, everything from trucking regulations in California or how to raise hogs in California to GMO corn being banned in Mexico. These are all things important. What kinds of policies or what can you do as the chief executive to help navigate that for Illinois' ag industry?
Well, we obviously take a lot of advice through our Department of Agriculture in order to make sure that we've got the most advanced policies. What I want is for us to have a burgeoning, growing industry, although we are one of the largest in the country at corn and soybeans and a few other products. But I think importantly, so much is happening in the agriculture world that you can't just sort of blindly think about only, what's just in front of you. We've got to think 5, 10, 15, 20 years ahead. And I'd ask the director if you wouldn't mind to come up and talk about some of those advancements.
Absolutely. One of the things that I think that is very important, we're involved in NASDA, National Association of State Departments of Agriculture, the entire United States working together to move agriculture forward, as well as MASDA, Midwest Association of State Departments of Agriculture, the 14 states really in the middle of the country, which are the grain belt. I would also add, we're very, very fortunate that the governor has a very good relationship with the Biden administration, Secretary Vilsack. So there are conversations going on constantly about the future of ag, obviously the #1 industry in our state. As a businessman, I can tell you he's grilling us all the time as far as facts, figures, moving things forward.
But as far as the, I guess, immediate impacts on like the corn situation with Mexico, when we talk to the ag industry, they're like, well, now we gotta just completely switch everything moving forward. Is there anything the state can do with those collectives that you have to, I don't know, put pressure on Mexico to address this?
So I would tell you we are talking to the corn growers here in the state of Illinois, working with them as well. Also our federal office holders. Congressman Bazinski, as you well know, is on the Ag Committee from a congressional level, talking to her. So, I mean, I would say those are the types of things that we can do to make sure that there's awareness of how important it is.
Governor, there's a bill, awaiting your signature or veto. It's kind of wrapped up in amber transmission issues, but there's a lot of issues. There's parts of that bill that are connected to ag mitigation efforts, up to half renewable energy products go on the farmland and being able to fix it. Do you plan to flat out veto that bill? Will you mandatory veto that bill and leave ag mitigation efforts that are in that bill to go into law?
One of the other reporters sitting next to you yesterday tried to get me to give advance notice about what my decisions would be about certain vetoes. I promise you that before the deadline, you'll know the answer to that question.
Real quickly, getting back to the nuclear veto, there was a flurry of activity after you vetoed that from senators who did not like that, and they're vowing an override. And it looks like it might be pretty close. What are you going to do with the legislature to work with them to make sure that they don't do that? Is there anything that you're going to tell them to work with them?
Well, I think they've known my position all along. That bill got changed at the very end, and a lot of people that voted for it did not know that it had been changed at the very end and voted for it. Again, the original intention of the legislation was to focus on small modular reactors. And then at the end, it got broadened to just any advanced reactor. And so, that's the reason that I had to veto it, by the way, because the words advanced reactor were the only word. There was nothing to, to line item, essentially amend without vetoing the entire bill in order to separate the question of whether you're going to have large-scale reactors developed in Illinois or whether you're talking about SMRs.
About the FFA and the 4-H, you've been a long-time proponent of education, but
Yes.
I don't know, when was your first experience with FFA and 4-H programs, and what have you thought of them as you've been in this role as governor?
So I have to say, it's the young people, the ones that are standing here and that are involved in 4-H and FFA across the state, including some that work in my administration, in my governor's office, who were the ones who really taught me how important these programs are and why we needed to do more for FFA and for 4-H students across the state. And of course, this is also about, I'm very focused on workforce development and making sure that we're educating people for the jobs of the future. And these are two things that you can do before high school and in high school and beyond to develop the kind of workforce and leaders that come from FFA. I mean, look at these young people, and you heard them speak so eloquently just moments ago, and the leaders who have joined us up here that were sitting in the audience moments ago, and so many across the state. I mean, this is an impressive group, and we ought to be investing in them.
I wanted to build on that, and I'm almost afraid
Dave.
because they outshine us so much.
It's true.
If the young leaders could come to the microphone. The gist of this is excused absences for participating in these activities. And how significant is that? How many class days would one expect to miss?
So that's something that I even saw when I started to step up and take leadership within the FFA as a section president and then now as a major state officer. So if that's being able to go to, say, a livestock judging competition, or you need to be able to plan and attend your LTS, I think those are just the handful of days that might go past what you can usually have, and then you don't get, say, a level within your school. You can't participate in the semester activity because you're involved in FFA. Those little pieces of school attendance records that now we can say, no, these kids are doing something even greater than skipping school like their attendance record seems to show, and they're actually becoming greater students and greater leaders. Naomi, if you have anything.
Whenever I was in high school, at least my senior year, I can say confidently that I missed at least a month of school worth of conferences and things, but I was still keeping up on my schoolwork. I stayed up very late to work on my assignments because that's something that 4-H and FFA tells the youth is that, hey, you are doing a responsibility. You need to be a part of this. And so you still need to do your school, but then still following on your FFA and your 4-H duties. And so having this kind of bill and legislative that I can go to the school and confidently say, hey, I know I'm going to continue my school assignments and I'm going to stick to the responsibilities I already have here, but I'm also going to be taking the opportunity to develop myself further and to be able to be a good future leader so that you can see in the success, hey, that was a student at my school, but then also a member of the 4-H and FFA program.
A couple of future governors here. Yes.
Governor, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson just made probably his most important hire as mayor, hiring Larry Snelling as the next Chicago police superintendent. With the Democratic National Convention coming to town to Chicago next year, and Chicago police are going to play a significant role in security there, do you have any reaction to Snelling's hiring by Brandon Johnson?
Well, again, I'm not going to comment on background or anything about Larry Snelling. I will say that there are a lot of people who feel very strongly that this was a good choice. I also know, and I want to convey to you specifically because you asked about the Democratic National Convention, that Larry Snelling has been in every single security meeting about the Democratic National Convention, partly because of his existing role at CPD. But we've got ISP, the leader of ISP, and other deputies who are in those meetings, as well as other law enforcement. I mean, the security is significant for the Democratic National Convention, and Larry Snelling is very well versed in it. And so I think it'll be a tremendous benefit and bonus for security at the DNC that he's actually going to be in charge of CPD.
Last question, and we'll go to Jerry.
Yeah, Jerry.
Your executive inspector general has been looking into PPP fraud, maybe more than 100 state employees and at least 37 at Ludeman Developmental Center. Can you tell anything about the challenges that have created?
Well, let me be clear that anybody that has committed PPP fraud in our administration or not in our administration does not deserve to have a job working for the people of the state of Illinois. And we're going to make sure that not only are they rooted out and fired from their positions, but also prosecuted to the greatest extent of the law. So we're continuing to work with the OEIG in making sure that we're uncovering anybody that may be guilty of PPP fraud. And as you know, they've focused on people who applied for $20,000 or more under the PPP program. And so that's the focus here. Obviously, it causes a challenge whenever you're letting anybody go and you have a number of open positions anywhere. It happens that, as you can imagine, in one particular location, when you find out there are 37 people that have done this, they've obviously been talking to one another at work. To one, maybe somebody committed this kind of fraud and then tried to convince somebody else it's, hey, I can show you how to do this. So my guess is that's what happened, though we'll have to find out what the final reports from the OEIG. So it's of concern, and we want to make sure that we're filling those positions as fast as possible. But, if someone commits a crime like this kind of PPP fraud, I'm not going to keep them in a position when they shouldn't be serving the public in any way whatsoever, and we have to fire them.
One very related question real quick. Any concerts that you've gone to or plan to go to? Are you going to go to Chappelle this Friday?
Was at Alanis Morissette last night. She was amazing, I might add. Yeah, and she likes mustard, by the way, on her hot dog.